Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Trucker Todd, and man, it's been a week. Let me get the ticker up and say hello to everybody, and we'll jump into it and talk about it. Um, we've had a lot of things happen. I ain't gonna lie, mostly bad. We'll talk about them tonight, and of course, get to your comments and do all the things that we normally do. Before we do, let's give a big shout out to all of the channel members. It's gone down significantly this week. I think we had a lot that were received at a gifted membership, and their gifted membership ended. And so we'll start with the longest standing channel member and work our way up to the newest. We've got Ramon, we've got Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, Midlife Trucker, Red Raider Reloading, Randy's Road Life, Trucker named Tim, Smaller Holler, Oaser DM, Roger Berry, Armando Perez, Skyhook Trucker, No Fear, Ryan Peterson, Delphi Money Click. I can't read the rest of it. It cuts it off at that point. Racing Ray, and he wanted me to say the 28. So we got Racing Ray 28. Lance Calhoun, Bobby, RGB, Gary Cook, My Name is Nobody, Trucker Dan, and Tattooed Trucker. So there's 23 of y'all right now. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel like that. If you're interested in doing that, at the bottom of your video, there's a deal that says join. You can click on that. There's two tiers. So far, everybody's in that first tier where you can receive exclusive content. It puts a little badge by your name and some things like that. Quite a bit of things. There's some more that's coming as soon as I can figure out how to do it. Tier 2 is where you can track my location across the country. We can possibly meet up somewhere. Also, other viewers that are subscribed to that service, you'd be able to see where they're at too. Possibly make some friends out on the road, things like that. It does have the ability to send messages in there too. I don't do a lot of that, but that might be of something that's of interest to you. So check those things out if they're things that you're interested in. I did not do a Tuesday video this week. I was running my tail off on a load, but there was some things I wanted to talk about on Tuesday, and it fits in with the title of tonight's, in case you missed it. But can't believe my eyes. The one thing that I couldn't believe, well, there's actually a couple of things, and it's going to be with the Kansas City Chiefs at the Super Bowl. It's going to make some of you mad, some of you big Kansas City Chiefs fans. But when Travis Kelce, went up and chest bumped the coach, almost knocked him down. Now, I believe the coach is like 65 years old, so he's not a spring chicken. I feel pretty comfortable saying Travis Kelce is in better physical condition. I feel comfortable saying that in a fist fight, Travis Kelce could probably take him in a fist fight. So it was uncalled for. You know, that's something that we're seeing a lot more these days, is just a lack of respect for Andy Reid and for people in general. You know, they're on a national stage in front of a lot of people, and if you're going to have a disagreement like that, do it in the locker room, do it behind closed doors. Don't do it out there where little kids and teenagers see that and emulate that and think that it's okay to do that. And the thing that frustrates me most about that, because I get it, I get being passionate, I get having a temper, I get getting upset, all of those things. But the thing that bothers me about this is nothing's going to happen to Travis Kelce for a couple of reasons. For one, he's probably the best tight end in the NFL, and he brings in a lot of money for the NFL, without a doubt. And you know, he's probably him and Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to talk about Patrick Mahomes in a minute too. You guys know I really like him, but he did something the week before that was unacceptable in my mind. Um, but anyway, back to Travis Kelce. He brings in a lot of money. He's one of the best. So the Chiefs aren't going to do nothing to him because they don't want him to get mad and say, well, fine, I'll just sit out next season or I'll go do something different. So they're going to tolerate it. Second thing is the NFL's probably not going to let nothing happen to him because, and this is a stupid reason, he dates Taylor Swift. And so Taylor Swift brings a lot of attention to the NFL from people that weren't traditionally football fans. And I forget how much they said income she had created for the NFL this season, but they're not going to do nothing because they don't want to risk upsetting her either and losing that revenue stream. Don't believe me? Just think about how much they showed her in games this season and specifically the Super Bowl. I mean, every time something happened, they were looking up there to see what her reaction was, how she reacted to it. So that's a problem. The week before, Patrick Mahomes decided he needed to practice on the field right before a game, and the kicker was practicing. And instead of walking up and saying, "Hey, kicker, I need the field. We're fixing to warm up the offense," something like that, he just walked over and kicked the tee out of the way. And there was a little bit of a confrontation between the kicker and Patrick Mahomes. And man, I can't imagine Roger Staubach or Terry Bradshaw or Joe Namath or some of the legends of the past. I can't imagine them acting that way. Now, there's no doubt we all agree it's probably more important for Patrick Mahomes to warm up than it is the kicker to warm up. But you know, they always talk about it being a team sport and teamwork and all of this. Showing your players that are on your team, your I can't think of the word right now. Anyway, showing your people that you're playing with compassion and respect and treating them like an equal, I think is something that's really important, and it speaks volumes about the caliber of the person. Now, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Patrick Mahomes may have had a bad day or something like that, but it doesn't give you the right to bully somebody, and I consider both of these deals bullying. Going up and shoving, chest bumping Andy Reid and screaming in his face like a drill sergeant because the game's not going the way you think it should is bullying. What's Andy Reid going to do? He's not going to fight Travis Kelce. And going over and kicking the kicker's tee out of the way and saying, "Get off the field, it's my turn," is bullying. And you say, "Well, you don't know, Todd. Maybe the kicker could take Patrick in a fight. Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. But I know if they get into it and all those offensive linemen run over there, whose side are they going to be on?" So again, if it's not bullying in Patrick Mahomes' case, it's definitely intimidation. And again, same thing. Nothing will happen to Patrick because he's Patrick Mahomes, probably the greatest quarterback in the NFL, maybe the greatest quarterback ever. And so I was super disappointed. Also, I come from an era where the Super Bowl commercials were funny, and you look forward to them. This year, I didn't think so. Probably the most controversial thing I'm going to say tonight. A lot of you are going to tell me that it was the best halftime show you ever seen, and maybe for you it was. I guess I'm just getting old. I didn't get it. I know Usher. I'm familiar with some of his songs. I actually like a couple of his songs, but man, I just didn't think the halftime show was good. So anyway, that's my opinion on that. Now let's get to my other I can't believe it. Man, for the last few months, I've been saying that I thought that the rates weren't great, but you could make a living right now. Right now, man, it's tough. Now, I say that with a almost $4 a mile load in my trailer right now. So I did okay, but I spent the majority of the day looking for that load. I delivered early this morning at a military base, 12 tires. And by the way, shout out to the Marines. They got out there and hustled. I mean, there wasn't one goober in the bunch. They were all, eager to get in there and help. There was teamwork. Nobody was complaining, dang, these tires are heavy, or I don't want to do this. Nobody was pulling rank on anybody either. I knew who the leader was, but he wasn't getting on to them or nothing. They were just working together as a team. And by the way, the leader was working just as hard as the other guys was. And I know we have a lot of jokes about the Marines, especially military personnel tease the Marines about being jarheads or bullet blockers or things like that. But man, I had a newfound respect for them this morning. The way they jumped on those tires, it was big old heavy tires, and I mean they were having a good time, and everybody's attitude was great, and that was fun to see. But man, I got on the load board, and we used to tell people you have to know your numbers. You don't even have to know your numbers anymore. 73 cents a mile, 47 cents a mile for loads, 95 cents a mile, many loads at $1.50 a mile. If you can't look at that and go, hey, this is a stinker, then man, you shouldn't be trucking. Also had a trucker tell me today, he went back and watched one of my old videos, and he said, man, you're running 3,000 miles a week. That's too much. You shouldn't be running that many miles. I said, well, I don't now that I'm on the spot market. But if you're running a mileage contract for a mega carrier, you better be running 2,800, 3,000 miles a week. And I reminded him that back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and even, well, I would say pretty much all through the 2000s, a lot of us ran 3,500, 4,000 miles a week. But now we feel like we're taxed and we've really done something if we run 2,500 miles a week. I talked to, and it's been a while back now, a U.S. Express driver that was complaining that his dispatcher wanted him to run 400 miles a day and that he just couldn't be expected to drive that much. And when I got done laughing, I told him, I said, at most companies, most drivers would quit if they weren't getting 4,000 miles a week. And you're 400 miles a day, and you're complaining about 400 miles a day. Most guys would be dissatisfied with that. But anyway, it's a different group out here now. It's a new generation for sure. But the rates are in the tank. There's still a few good ones, but it took me the majority of the day to find a decent load. And so man, it makes you sit back and think. And I talked about this a few weeks ago. You have that thought flash through your head for a second. Man, it's not worth it. Or to just go something different. Go do something different. And then you think, all right, what would you do if you quit trucking right now, where you'd have the freedom you have now, you'd make the money you make now? Because even though it's still pretty bad, it's still not as bad as like a lot of people have it. So, man, we have got to find a way to quit taking these cheap loads. And I'm not blaming you guys. I'm saying we. I pulled a couple that were right around the $2 a mile mark, but not many. Some of those loads, for those that don't know, Dad has and Dad's a load board. It's one of the larger load boards, probably the largest. They have a little calculator that you type in all your numbers, and it'll tell you what you'll make on the load. And there was some 4-day loads on there that I could lose $800, and that's $200 a day for a 4-day load. So how many of you wake up and go, man, I hope I lose $200 today? I'm going to go to the office, I'm going to clock in, and I hope I lose $200 today. And even if I don't, I'm still going to work and accept that $200 loss. There was another load on there. It said you must bring $180 to pick up this load. Can you imagine if we did that? If we were shipping something cross country, or take these take those U-boxes that they have at U-Haul. Say you loaded it with your household furniture and U-Haul showed up to pick it up and you said, you're going to have to pay me $180 to take it. They'd laugh at you. But yet here we are in trucking, paying to take freight, and no EFS, no com check, cash. You bring us 180 cash to take this load. So needless to say, I didn't haul that one today either. But the insanity in trucking right now is just overboard. And I'm sure some of the reaction from some of you is, well, Todd, if it's that bad, why don't you just go do something else? Why don't you quit? Well, because like I said at the start of this, I'm an optimist and I think it's going to get better. And so I'm hanging in there as long as I can. But it's tough right now. And I don't know if you noticed this either. Fuel is starting to creep back up again. We had all that conversation about how it was coming down. And I was buying fuel in some places for under $3 a gallon. And later tonight, I'm going to be not filling up, getting 50 gallons at like $3.40 something a gallon. So we're talking about a 50-cent swing per gallon here just in the past few weeks. And so I know it varies in different parts of the country, but I'm just wondering how many of y'all are experiencing that as well. But yeah, it's tough right now, folks. All right, enough of me complaining and throwing my opinion. Let me see what your opinions are. Let's start off by saying hello to the first one that was in here today. That would be Red Raider Reloading, who is a channel member. We know that by the insignia at the end of his name there. He says he's here with his popcorn. All righty. And says hello to everyone. That's also Red Raider Reloading. And let's see here. Roger Berry, channel member, says, I'm a part of this. Hey, Gorilla Gang. Hello, Roger. And channel member Robbie Ross is from the other Burbank in Burbank, Ohio. Hiya, friends from Burbank, Ohio, instead of Burbank, California. Gary Cook, channel member, good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be listening from the Petro in Gary. That's a fun place to hang out. Josh McLean, hello, 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 sir. And RCTRST says hello to everybody. Hello, sir. And I had told everybody, let me put it up, that I'm sorry we had to start late. Normally we do these on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Central. I was getting loaded, and so I did this just as soon as I could. And consequently, I'll be driving most of the night because of that as well. And Roger Berry, channel member, said, it's all good. And Gary Cook, channel member, says, take your time, but damn it, hurry. Yes, sir. Blues Trucker US, good evening, Trucker Todd and chat. Good evening, sir. And Don also saying good evening to everyone. Oh, this is great. Nicholas Earl. Oh, come on, man. He already apologized. Yeah, he did. I mean, and in fairness to him, Andy Reid defended him. But what else could he do? And what else could Andy Reid do? You think Andy Reid's going to call him out in front of cameras and risk ticking him off? Do you think that Kelsey's going to say anything that might cause a public uproar and lead to something happening anyway? Yeah, this is a stinker. Could any of us have done that in school? Your high school coach, could you have went up and chest bumped him like that and screamed in his face? No, you'd have been off the team. They wouldn't have cared if you was the star player. And we used to have a coach, and this was in junior high. I remember this. He wore pointy-toed boots, and he'd have you get in a 4-point stance, and he'd come up and kick you like a football. Now, he never kicked me, but there was this one guy. His first name's John. I'm not going to say his name on here. I vividly remember him kicking him several times, and you could tell John wanted to hit him, and John held himself back. But man, it's I did have an English teacher kick me one time. But anyway, that's a different story. I deserved it. Anyway, but yeah, that's it's just insane that we talk about privilege and all of that, and then we let them do things like that. Ocho Mingo says a Hall of Fame coach at that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, think about it. All three of them are Hall of Famers. Is there anybody in here that wants to debate if Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce are going to be in the Hall of Fame? No, we all know they're going. Is there anybody here that wants to debate if Andy Reid is going to be in the Hall of Fame? No, I think that's pretty much a given. So we're talking about Hall of Famers here, and I think you got to hold them to a higher standard because more people are watching them. If it was a bench warmer uh, that nobody knew his name, then then it's not as big a deal. But this is a guy that people are buying his jerseys. Kids are emulating them on vacant lots across the country, saying they want to be like him when they grow up. And how much respect are they going to have for their coaches and the people that mentor them and train them throughout their life if they see somebody they look up to doing things like that? Yeah, they did win, and that was a miracle in itself. I don't know if they won or if San Francisco beat themselves. San Francisco killed themselves with penalties. For the most part, they outperformed Kansas City the whole game, but they just killed themselves with penalties. Nicholas Earl, tied Hall of Fame tied into. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Ocho Mingos, yeah, but you ever see Brady do that to Belichick? Exactly, exactly. Something you're not ever going to see. And I think it was a mutual respect there. I don't think Belichick would have ever kicked Brady, and I don't, or chest bumped him, and I don't think that Brady would have ever done that to Belichick. I think they had a mutual respect for each other, and I would bet that they're still in communication and still friends even now. Michael Rixvold. Hello, everyone. Hello, sir. The NFL is somewhat a popularity contest. You notice certain players get away with things because they're one of the faces of football. LOL. Aaron Donald is a prime example. Yes, sir. And that's probably true. That's probably true in every facet of life. We've all worked a job where we were not liked by our boss or by our teacher, and we knew we got treated differently than everybody else. And we've all been places where we were the star and we got preferential treatment. And you think back over your life, and this isn't even about race or anything. There's people that you meet and you just like them. You don't have a reason. Something about them, you just like them. And then there's people that, and maybe I'm this person for some of you, that you've never met them, but for some reason you just don't like them. And that's okay too. You don't have to like everybody, and everybody don't have to like you. I've said on this video before that I like people that don't like me. That's okay. Uh, I, I'm a little bit different. Not everybody gets me. It's okay. It's the world's big enough. But if I think somebody's good or talented at something, I'm going to say it regardless of what their opinion is of me. Oh my gosh, this is Lance Calhoun, channel member. What's everyone's problem with Taylor Swift? I don't get it. There's not a problem with her. I think everything I said about her is true. She has brought a lot of people that doesn't traditionally watch football to football, namely a lot of younger people, a lot of females, which is great for the sport. She's definitely increased ticket sales. She's made the NFL a lot of money. It she just come off a concert tour. It may still be going on. That I believe it was the biggest in history. So there's nothing wrong with her, but you can't you can't look at her and say that she hadn't had an impact on the NFL this year. And you can't look at her and say that she hadn't had an impact on Travis Kelce's career this year. He's got a lot of endorsement deals because of the extra recognition that comes with being her boyfriend. But I don't have nothing against her. I don't have an axe to grind. I suspect if we met in person, her political views and my political views would be a little bit different. But she's got a few songs that I like, and I, I see why people like her music. I've seen her concert. I didn't, not in person. I've seen a few clips on YouTube. It's okay. Again, I don't get the new generation. I think I'd rather see an '80s rock band in concert, but I don't have nothing against her. I'm glad that she's bringing new fans to the NFL, but I think because of that, same reason they protect the big stars, the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes, the Travis Kelce's. They don't want to lose that cash cow in the NFL. It is somewhat of a popularity contest, like Ocho Mingo says. But yeah, there's some people that hate her guts, but you can't sell millions of records and have everybody like you. You can't do 6 hours a week of YouTube videos and say something everybody wants to hear. Some of the videos are going to be better than others. Some of you guys are going to hate my guts. Some of you are going to think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. Just have to roll with it. But I haven't said anything bad about her, and I don't think I've really said anything about her that anybody could disagree with. Channel member Robbie Ross, I thought it was terrible what happened at the parade. It's going to change how that is in sports from now on. It sucks. This is the life we live in. Yeah, there's another one, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but we might as well talk about it. Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas, where Pastor Joel Osteen is, also had a shooter in there. It was originally reported that it was a white female carrying a 5-year-old kid. We later found out that it was a Middle Eastern woman saying free Palestine, or it had free Palestine on her rifle, that was trans. And so, not that those details in and of themselves are significant. I mean, what her orientation is in that department really doesn't concern me. I'm a live and let live kind of guy. Just you stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. You do what you do, I'll do what I do, type of thing. But it makes you wonder why the media, I believe purposefully, misreported that. Why not come out from the beginning and say, "Hey, this is a Middle Eastern woman, trans or whatever you want to call her, and she did this." The boy is not, and he may already be gone. The 5-year-old, not expected to survive. Terrible deal. I'm going to try to avoid commenting on the church itself or the pastor himself, my opinions about him. But it's a tragedy, and anytime we have a tragedy like that, just tell the truth. Let the people decide. Don't make stuff up or try to change it to fit a narrative. The media really hoped it was a white Southern racist Trump supporter that they could jump on the bandwagon, and it was none of those things. It was somebody that was pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, and unfortunately, it turned out to not fit their narrative. Channel member Gary Cook, I didn't care for the halftime show. I think it was horrible, but Reba did a fantastic job singing the national anthem. Yeah, I agree. I didn't even comment on Reba. She never disappoints. She always does good. Ocho Mingos, I love me some R&B. However, it would be refreshing seeing some diversity for halftime shows. Who knows? Maybe they have on an artist I'm unfamiliar with and enjoy their music. Yeah. One thing about, like, when Jerry Jones does it, when they have it at AT&T Stadium there, it becomes like a charity event. Last time it was the Salvation Army and all of that. Just let's not make it a charity event. Let's not make it a political event. Beyonce did it a few years ago, and they said it was anti-white and all of this. Let's leave all the politics out of it. Let's just have a few minutes of pure entertainment with good singing. I agree with you. Have different genres. Pick 4 or 5 genres, and every Super Bowl have a different genre up there. Rotate between the 4 or 5 every year, so you get something different, a little diversity, like you're talking about. And who knows? It's probably not likely because I drive so much that I hear a little bit of everything. But who knows? I might hear a song I've never heard or a band I've never heard and go, wow, that was pretty good. I think I'm going to check them out. But no, I was extremely disappointed, and I got on Facebook afterwards, and the younger crowd was going, "This was the best halftime show ever." And I'm like, have these people even seen a halftime show before? But whatever. Lance Calhoun, channel member. I've seen a lot of people verbally abuse Taylor Swift, and I have seen her do nothing to deserve it. Yeah, I don't have any beef with her. If she wants to, first of all, she can date anybody she wants to date, so nobody should be mad at her for dating Kelsey. And secondly, she should be able to go to any sporting event that she wants. She's an adult and free, so nobody should chastise her for going to a sporting event. And if next week she went to a pickleball game, which that's a new sport that's getting popular, uh, she'd make pickleball popular. They'd probably uh, have a rise in pickleball interest. Or if she went to a ping pong tournament, it'd be the same thing if back in the day Elvis went to something. Elvis probably created revenue for whatever he went to, whatever hotel he stayed at, or whatever restaurant he ate at. So, but a lot of people will tune in just because she's there. And I'm like you, I haven't seen her do anything that should affect the NFL either way. And, like I said, I disagree with her politically on a few things, but there's a lot of bands I like that I disagree with them politically. That's not necessarily a bad thing either. John Fuller says 1 million new immigrants soon to be CDL holders. Well, I think what they're going to learn, and this is nothing against immigrants, um, there's a lot of people currently that have CDLs that shouldn't have one. And we see them on the roads every day doing stupid things. And there's YouTube channels devoted to truck drivers doing stupid things. So the deal is not can you get your CDL, it's can you hang on to it and can you make a living with it. And some people can and some people can't. Right now, the problem they're having is people are just leaving trucking, and they need to. But for them to do this and bring on more immigrants when we've already got the market flooded with truck drivers, I mean, it makes you wonder if there's not, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I got a good friend that calls me that he is a conspiracy theorist, and he always tries to get me in the latest conspiracy with him. But you got to kind of wonder at this point if they're not trying to destroy trucking. And you say, well, why, Todd? Why would they do that? With the autonomous trucks and everything coming down the line, are they just trying to wipe out truck drivers? Definitely trying to wipe out the small independent contractor, the small owner operator. But what would their motivation be? Why would they try to do that? Well, it's simple. What happens when you get rid of truck drivers? We still got to have stuff moved. So you say, well, we tried the privatization of truck drivers. It didn't work. We need to socialize truck driving. And they won't call it socializing. They'll call it nationalizing. So we, the federal government, are going to take over truck driving because everything we do as the federal government always turns out great. And I meant that sarcastically for those that didn't get that. But I believe this is a push towards socialism. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist, a nut, say I don't know what I'm talking about. But you couldn't screw up the economy and trucking this much if you tried. If me and you sat down at a table and said, let's destroy the country, we couldn't do it any quicker than they are right now. And so that's what I think they're leaning to. I think they're hoping to create such a catastrophe that we all just cry out, government, please take over trucking. Please, not only trucking, trains, everything. Let's let the government handle the transportation industry. And if you think that things are high now when you go to the store, you wait till the government's running transportation. You talk about a bureaucracy. And Red Raider Reloading channel member made it back to the chat. Good deal, sir. Glad you're here. Oh, by the way, were you in Rawls earlier today, Red Raider? I thought I passed you. Let's see what I did here. Ocho Mingos, Todd, on your deal, I definitely run for revenue versus as many miles as I can. Yes, sir. Yep. Like I try to do 12 to 1300 a day in revenue. And most of the time I do it. This one here is 1100 a day revenue, but still not bad. Skyhook Trucker channel member says, hi all. P.U. Patel, you're still saving money by using that fuel card you promote, right, Todd? P.U. Patel, here's the honest truth. I'm not using it near as frequently as I was, not because the savings aren't there, but just because money has been so tight. It's a prepaid card that you have to prepay load. And so I'm working on building it back up. And my goal is to use it 100% or at least 90% later on this year. But man, it's been tough with all the issues with the Kenworth and everything I got behind, and I'm still getting my head above water. But I do actively get on there and look at the discounts and make sure that what I'm telling people is good. But I have not loaded money on it as frequently as I normally would, just because man, it's been tight. It has been real tight lately. So, but definitely worth getting for sure. Red Raider Reloading channel member, I subsidize my own driving. There you go. Daryl says he's listening while he drives. Well, I'm glad you're here, sir. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Red Raider Reloading channel member, I subsidize my trucking income with an OnlyFans. Yeah, and I know many of you have hoped I would get an OnlyFans. I've been told I should not do that. Reason being, a lot of the bodybuilders and such feel like it's unfair for me to put my chiseled physique on there as opposed to theirs. So out of respect for the bodybuilders and the models and things like that, I've decided to leave OnlyFans to them and just stimulate you guys with my mind instead of visually. Bobby Merrill, hello. Oh, that was another thing that happened this week. So I took my pickup to Walmart, and I know I normally go to the dealer and get it done because they have a special where you can get your oil changed and your tires rotated real cheap. But I was in a hurry, so I went to a Walmart, and they put the wrong oil in my truck, a bunch of stuff. So I've been dealing with that this week too. Oh, and AT&T overcharged me $904 on my cell phone bill. So I've been trying to get that credited back. It's just been a week. And so if you've tried to call me and you hadn't got me, that's why I'm working hard trying to get everything under control. I will call everybody back, though. Sorry, I was reading one of your messages at the same time. P.U. Patel, maybe you should start an OnlyFans, Todd. Yeah, there you go. If I start one, are you gonna subscribe, P.U. Patel? Lance Calhoun, channel member, Black National Anthem. Seems like we should be one country. Yeah, I always wonder when any group of people does this, what would the flip of that be? What if we came up with a white national anthem? Well, that's racist. You can't do that. Well, why not? You can, there's a lot of things like that, and I could go on and get myself in trouble. But you think of all the things that are divided. Um, the Cub Scouts, for example, used to be a male only thing. They went to court and sued and got to where girls could be in the Boy Scouts, which I thought would never happen. But be a boy and try to join the Girl Scouts and see what happens. See how that works out for you. I mean, it's not just a racial thing. There's all kinds of things like that. A trucker named Tim, channel member. Good evening. I'm up early for work, 3 a.m. Stop by to say hi and show support. Won't be able to stay. All right, Tim, I'll try to give you a call tomorrow afternoon. Sorry I didn't get your call back today. And channel member Skyhook says, hey, Tim, what's up? Alaska Hall, Taylor Swift is satanic. Maybe. I don't know her. I don't know her religious beliefs or her relationship with God or her lack of relationship with God. But I know that the Bible I read tells me not to judge people, and so I'm not going to judge if she's a Christian or not, and I'm not going to judge if she has a relationship with God or not. I'm going to leave that between her or him. I mean, her and him. But you know, I don't have a problem with her going to NFL games. Was what I was saying. A trucker named Tim, channel member. Hey, John, I text you today. Russell Freight on my way home after out a month. There you go. Don't stay out a month. Go home a little more than that. RCTRST. The government couldn't successfully run a profitable brothel. The Mustang Ranch. Exactly. Exactly. But I guarantee you the thought has crossed their mind that if we could crash transportation, we could nationalize it and and that's I think that's why they're trying to destroy everything. And I'll go ahead and say it and get everybody mad at me. I would say the same thing about the government in general. I believe that they're trying to wreck this economy so they can say, well, we tried free enterprise, it didn't work. We need to nationalize it. And that way we can put regulations and make sure it runs correctly. And I said regulations for a reason. Trucking is one of the most heavily regulated industries there is. And look how well it's working out. All their rules to make things safer, to make things better, and look how it's going for them. But yet they'd like more control, more power. They'd like more of your money. Skyhook Trucker channel member. Yeah, I saw that, but I was getting loaded and just stopped. I'll text you or call tomorrow. He's talking to a trucker named Tim. Robbie Ross channel member. I have lonely fans. It's not working. LOL. There you go. Trucker named Tim, working local at the moment, so probably won't be able to talk. But when I start my dedicated run in a couple of weeks, I'll call you. All right, I'll just wait till I hear from you, Tim. This morning when you called, it was like the worst possible time ever, but it'll level out here pretty quick and I'll be able to talk more. Video days are usually tough, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And as you know from doing what I do, early mornings are tough because I'm usually on the phone with brokers or making a delivery or picking up a load or something like that. Lance Calhoun, channel member, brothel, taxes. less we have to pay. RCTRST. So they put a synthetic mix, a mixed blend oil, and on that EcoBoost, I run a full synthetic. Typically, I run it from the dealer. This time, I did Castrol high mileage, full synthetic, 5W30. It's not a huge deal that they put a wrong oil in it, but when you pay for something, you like to get what you pay for. And they made some other mistakes too. I'm debating if I'm going to call Walmart corporate and make a deal out of it or not. But they said they checked my tires, and all of my tires were at 35. Well, I've got 35s on my pickup, and they're supposed to be 55 pounds on the front axle and 60 on the back axle. So that means each of my tires was at least 25 pounds low in air if they checked them like they said they did. They also said they checked my transfer case oil, my differential oil, and I'd be willing to bet money they didn't check none of those things. So all those things I paid for, services I should have received, I didn't receive. And my truck has 171,000 miles on it, or 170. My pickup does. What are the odds that all those components were full and none of them needed any oil or fluids added? I say very unlikely. If I hadn't mentioned it lately, I hate Walmart. P.U. Patel. I have a buddy that's throwing in the towel as an owner op, not because he isn't making enough. He failed to save for taxes and owes way more than he has on hand. Well, there are agencies and groups that will help you get it set up on a payment plan with the IRS. Heck, you can set it up with a payment plan with the IRS on your own. But if it's way out of his reach, he might want to work with one of those agencies and get it reduced to where he can afford it. But, I would say that he's not alone. A lot of businesses go under because of taxes and overhead and regulations created by the government. And that's never what our founding fathers intended. Um, but I would argue that our government does a lot of things now that they never originally intended. Gary Cook, channel member, hell, the federal government can't even control the southern border. Ah, well, get this, but wait, there's more. They can't control the northern border either. Now we're starting to get overrun up north at the Canadian border too. I saw a news story day before yesterday where they're having a big influx of people coming in the northern border now. So we're getting hit all the way around. And why wouldn't they? We live in the greatest country on earth, and now's the time to come in. Nobody's going to stop you. You're probably going to be allowed to stay. So why not? They're all coming, and we got to get somebody in office, whether you like Trump or whether you like somebody else. We got to get somebody in office that takes border security seriously. And if your guy's Biden and you support Biden, then Biden's got to start taking border security more seriously than what he currently does. Trucker named Tim, channel member. I didn't call you my friend. I just text so you and John didn't think I forgot about you. No, I knew you were going to be busy your first 2 weeks. I started to call you and leave you a voicemail, but I figured when you got to a point where you could talk, you'd holler at me. All right, we're caught up on the comments. So this is the part of the show where I remind everybody, give me a thumbs up while you're here. I really, really need them. My analytics have gone down lately with YouTube, especially losing all those channel members and everything. So I really need you to give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. If you never have subscribed, now's the time to do it. That's free. I had somebody ask me one day, how much is a subscription? They're free. All it does is send you notifications when a video comes out, either recorded or these lives. You do have to click the bell and select all afterwards, though, to get the notification. But please subscribe. That also helps. You can also share. That's also an option below the video. You can share the video on your Facebooks, your social medias, your Instagrams, all that. And that also helps a lot. And if you want to do more, you hear me calling people channel members, hit that join button. There's 2 tiers there. Check out those tiers. I realize money's really tight right now. So if you can't do that, I understand. But at least subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Those are free and they help a lot. While you're in that area, if you click on the title of the video, it's going to drop down a lot of great information about how to get a solar powered headset like I promote. You heard P.U. Patel a minute ago talking about the fuel card that I recommend. I save about $1,400 a month when I'm able to use it. I've just had a lot of hardships and personal deals that have made it where I hadn't been able to use it lately. But believe me when I tell you, my number one goal is to get back to using it again just as soon as I can. All right, while I was here rambling on, we got another comment, so let's jump into that. It was Gary Cook, channel member, says, did you get a load out of Florida or did you deadhead out? Yes, I did get a load out of Florida. It went to Louisiana, and then I got a load out of Louisiana that went over to West Texas. That was that tire load for the military, and it delivered this morning. And then now I've got a load going to Colorado. This is some kind of seed. I believe it's sorghum or something like that. And it's going out in the middle of nowhere in Colorado. So I'm probably going to have a little deadhead tomorrow, but it was a good paying load. Not quite $4 a mile, but high threes. And so I was happy with it. It's 308 miles and paid $1,100. So not too shabby compared to what most of the stuff I saw on the load board. Man, I had a broker today. I was like, I can't do that one. And he's like, I know it's cheap. He said, we don't have very much in it. And I didn't say nothing, but I thought in my head, well, why would you bid on a load that you know no driver's going to take? Because he told me, yeah, nobody wants to take it. It's too cheap. And they had to know when they made the deal on the load that it was too cheap. But yeah, they're still stuck with it. It's still on the load board now. I ain't hauling it. All righty, here we go. We got Robbie Ross, channel member. I use my fuel card all the time, and I can say I save a minimum of $1,500 a month. There you go. That's better than I did. I usually did $1,300 to $1,400. So Robbie Ross is utilizing his ES Advantage fuel card even more effectively than I did. But like I said, there's a link in my video. If you click on it, it takes you to the Trucker Todd landing page is what they call it. It's got my name at the top, which I thought was cool. And then you answer like 4 or 5 questions, and they'll get all the information together for your individual needs and desires. And then they'll call you in like a day or two and go over everything. You can get your card for as little as $100. They'll ship it out for $100. So don't think I burn $1,500 worth of fuel a week. I've got to have, or I burn $1,000 a week in fuel. I've got to have $1,000 to get the card. No, you can get the card. And one way to do it, I heard some YouTubers on another channel that also use this card saying that they did it, was they put $300 on it or $400, something like that. And then each time they filled up, instead of replenishing the card with what they spent, they replenished it with what they would have spent had they not got a discount. So say that you bought $350 worth of diesel with your discount, but the fuel would have cost you $500 had you not had the discount. They would load $500 on their card, thus increasing it $150 until they got it built up. And they recommended putting $5,000 in there. That's not a terrible idea, but I usually had like 12 or 1,500 in there, and then each time I fueled, I just refilled it. But yeah, I tell you guys the truth. I haven't had the funds to replenish it like I'd like to. As often I do sometimes, but not to the level I'd like to. And it's just I make a ton of money and then it's in and out, in and out, in and out. And I mentioned last week that I finally got my head above water and I'm starting to pay things currently instead of a week or two behind. And so those days are coming really, really quick. Here we go. We got a super sticker from Robbie Ross, channel member, 20 bucks. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I really do, especially this week. Holy cow. I could not believe the rates, but thank you for that. Uh, Robbie Ross has been a very big supporter of the channel for many years. I've known him going back to my Roadrunner days, and he's a good friend, both on the channel and off the channel. Good guy. Gary Cook, channel member, the Nastic fuel card. It seems the discounts have fallen a bit, or is it just me? No, this company that I'm with, SRO Logistics. By the way, I hadn't said anything about them today. If you're interested in coming to work over here where I'm at, and you got your own truck, look in the little ticker below the screen, and it'll give you his email. It's safety at SRO Logistics. You can email him and ask him about opportunities that might be available for you. The Nastic fuel card's what we use over here. Sometimes you get a discount, and sometimes it just tells you the cheapest place that they're set up with in the area, but it's still pump price. Now, what I have found is a lot of times Nastic, if they don't have a discount at that place will also be a Mudflap place, and you can use the Mudflap app and save money there. And I've also got a link in my description of my video, by clicking the title, that you can get Mudflap and you get $10 worth of free fuel when you sign up that way too. So I know 10 bucks ain't a lot, but it's, 2.5 gallons or so. So check out the Mudflap link too. And I think you'll be glad you did. But for those of you that are using Nastic, if you go somewhere and you realize you're not getting a discount at that location, pull up the Mudflap app and you may save, 10 or 15 cents a gallon with Mudflap. Just something to think about. But all right, we're still caught up and the comments are slowing down. If you guys are already out of gas, I'll hop off here and get on the road. I got to drive all night. But if you got something you just been waiting to talk to me about, throw it up there and we will discuss it. Give you guys about another 20 or 30 seconds to type. All right, it looks like this video is going to end right at the hour mark, one of our shortest videos ever. I appreciate everybody coming in tonight. I'm sure we'll catch a lot more of you on the replay. And we got a comment. P.U. Patel, Trucker Todd, have you ever ran out of fuel on the road? Yes, sir. When I was at DART, I believe it was 2009, my very first load with them, I ran out of fuel, and it turned out that the sending unit on that truck was faulty. It wasn't a DART truck. It was actually a Quality Leasing truck. I had got my own truck through Quality Leasing, and the gauge, when it showed half a tank, you were dry. So I pulled up in Fort Worth over there at the Budweiser plant to get a load, and thinking I had a half a tank of fuel, and I ran out over there. And I ended up not having to pay for that. Quality paid for it because it was literally my first load. So I also ran out, similar situation with that 2008 Volvo. Coincidentally, the day before I had the accident, so it would have been on April 27th, I ran out of fuel. Same thing. the gauge was off on it a little bit, and I should have stuck the tank and made sure. But at that point, I'd already drove it, probably close to 10,000 miles, well, at least 6,000, and had never had an issue like that. So twice that I can recall in 27 years, I've ran out of fuel. Both times it was trucks that I wasn't familiar with. This one has an issue where, and I wasn't going to bring it up tonight, but maybe somebody will know what the issue is. It sucks fuel from the left tank faster than it does the right tank. And it'll suck the left tank down pretty quick. I mean, because it's getting almost all the fuel from there. And if you pull over and turn it off for about 15 or 20 minutes, the fuel will level out again and it'll go on down the road. But you do have to keep an eye on it. And because I know the gauge is faulty, I guess it's the gauge. I've already done the sending unit. I've either got a wiring issue or it's the gauge, or I've got a return line that's stopped up somewhere or something. But since I know that's an issue, I just monitor it closely. And I've never ran this Freightliner out of fuel yet. So, but yeah, I hope that answered your question. And I did it kind of long-winded, hoping we'd get some more questions. But since we're kind of running out of juice tonight, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here and get back on the highway. Thank y'all for joining me. If I don't get another video out this week, y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you later. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.